Howdy folks, Nathan Adlin here with
Andrei Smirnov.
and welcome to TFL Talk for Trucks. And coming up, we have a special episode.
Top 5 trucks, great trucks that don't sell.
That's right. Now these are vehicles that are out there, they exist, but their sales numbers are low, yet they're really good vehicles. And you'll understand what we're talking about in just a moment.
Yes, we've driven these.
Yes.
And these are like hidden gems. I mean, they're really good trucks, but for whatever reason, they're not very popular.
All right, so let's just, without any further delay, get started.
Number 5, Nissan Frontier.
That's right, the Nissan Frontier. Now, the Nissan Frontier currently is going through a little bit of a sales upturn.
Yeah.
However, it is one of the oldest trucks in its bracket. In fact, it's one of the oldest trucks out there in the North American market. And right now, it is considered outdated. But it still is very capable off-road, very tough, fairly well screwed together, and it represents a very good bang for the buck proposition.
Well, the 4-liter V6 has been around for more than a decade. So you've got reliability of that history.
Yep.
Right. It's got, the same thing with the transmission. And it's like the Pro 4X version is really good off-road.
It is really good off-road, and you get a lot of kit for the money. It's substantially less expensive than the equivalent from Toyota or from General Motors.
And about a year ago, we took it on the iGauntlet. We loaded it basically to the max, maybe just a little bit smidge over the maximum.
Maybe, yeah.
And it still did it. It said, come on, bring it on.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it is, the VQ series engine is already a very old series of V6s. However, it still is a robust and reliable engine. And for those of you who are looking at Toyotas and at GM products and thinking, you know what, I really do want something that's less expensive, it couldn't hurt to look over at Nissan and see what they've got.
Do we know anything about the coming up Frontier, the next one?
No, not a lot, but here's the interesting part about that. Now, Nissan was really careful to say they're not showing us anything until all of the Titan rollouts happen, and they're not done yet. But Nissan's been very careful about what they've been discussing in terms of the Frontier.
No official word on
No
this.
official word.
Okay, let's go to number 4.
Absolutely.
Toyota Tundra. So I just came back from the San Antonio manufacturing facility where they assemble Tundras and Tacomas. That was
cool.
a really exciting place to be because they built 2 trucks on the same line, right? So you can see a Tundra rolling right behind it is a Tacoma, and there are variations of cabs, beds. So it's like mind-boggling complexity, right?
Right.
And trucks are just coming out like one every 60 seconds.
However, a lot of those trucks are not Tundras.
Right. More than half of those are Tacomas, actually. And they cannot build enough Tacomas, and they're sending them out the door.
Well, they added another shift just to build Tacomas, right? Like an overnight shift.
Overtime, yes.
Yeah,
It's not
crazy.
another shift. It's just they're asking their workers to work overtime.
Bummer,
basically.
more money. Yeah.
But the Tundra, I mean, it's still a solid truck, right? It's got the 5.7-liter V8, good transmission. It's built really toughly, with axles and a differential, and it performed really well on our Ike.
It did. But here's my theory about the Tundra and the reason why sales aren't quite as good as perhaps they should be. And that simply is that all the other automakers have come out with new or highly revised vehicles, and Toyota, as typical of Toyota, is taking a pragmatic approach, taking their time, and they are not jumping on the bandwagon with building something brand new.
I asked Mike Swears, the chief engineer.
Yeah.
He said no comment. Everybody's always working on something
Right.
new, right? But they don't want to release any information for competition to find out what's going on.
You have to remember that a company like Toyota, who really has made their reputation on trucks, is very careful to take the next step, because that next step is going to be watched very carefully by other competitors, including Nissan, who is currently on a tear in terms of producing trucks, but also, of course, GM, Ford, and Ram.
Yep. Should we move on to number 3?
Let's move on, yeah, please.
Number 3. So, and we can talk more about this, but GMC heavy duty, but base model.
Base model.
It's basically a fact that GMC sells more than half of their heavy duty trucks are Denali's.
Yep.
So these are, chrome, luxury.
$50,000, $60,000, $70,000 trucks.
Yes, over $70,000. Some of these, you got cooled seats, you got leather and all kinds of gadgets and cameras and all kinds of stuff, and they sell a lot of those.
They do. But what about the base truck that gets you moving? What about the one that people need when they're working, when they're going to move things or lift things or haul things? What about those base models? And that's what we're talking about.
And I think it's a kind of a generic trend in the industry. The base model, you know, the regular cab or the extended cab doesn't sell as good as the crew cab 4x4. You know, that's where the majority of the market is going, basically.
And I bet a lot of you guys out there are going, well, wait a minute. I know a lot of people who really would rather buy the base model, but there isn't enough selection, or perhaps they're not as cheap as they should be or inexpensive as they should be. There are lots of reasons for not buying them. And the bottom line is they build a really good truck, and the fact that they're not selling those base models, there might be a few reasons behind that, and it's a pity. Dealerships make a lot more money when they sell a $75,000 truck than when they sell a $35,000 truck.
Yeah.
Look, guys, when you are out looking for new trucks, definitely look at some of the base versions and think about what you can add to it. You might be able to save yourself a ton of money.
And customize it in the process,
Yeah,
you
why
know,
not?
do it yourself.
That's what Andre did.
Well, kind of.
I just
Listen, this is my truck behind this. Anyway,
his pride and joy.
It's a long
He
story.
cuddles with it. It's cute. All right, let's move on to number 2.
Number 2, Ford F-150 with a 5-liter V8.
Now, we have driven that, and it is a damn good truck. Roman fell in love with it.
In fact, it won our 2016 Towing Award for the Gold Hitch.
And they weren't even trying, which is like kind of pissing us off because it's like, we know about their EcoBoost stuff and we know about what they can do, but they just like, well, all right, if you really want a 5-liter, all right, here you go. You can have this one, just whatever. We don't want to hear about it. And it frickin' won. Can you believe that?
So Kent and Roman get into it, right? They hitch up, 9,000 pounds, which for that model was maxed out at that weight. And it just runs up the mountain. You're like, no issues. Okay, here we go.
And it makes you wonder, it's so good. Why bother with the EcoBoost?
Yeah, and Ford's been pushing EcoBoost technology
Like
for
crazy.
what, 5 or 6 years now.
Even more than that, yeah.
And I mean, it's all about efficiency, and you know, Ford is really working hard on this.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to introduce a 10-speed automatic transmission in the 2017 trucks for F-150s, the new generation of EcoBoost,
Right.
and that's where all of their focus is. But by the way, their 5-liter is still there.
It's still there, and it's great. Okay, and then number 1.
Number 1. This is interesting because Roman and I got a chance to see this truck in Chelsea,
Right.
at the proving grounds at Ram RT. So I don't know if many people even understand what
I
this is.
don't, so explain it to me as well, would you?
Okay, so it's a short wheelbase, short bed, single regular cab with a Hemi V8.
So basically, it's a sports truck,
It's a sports truck.
but it's not a full-blown one with a manual transmission or a V10 or anything else like they used to have.
Right, it's not an SRT, you know, branded truck, but it's as close to that spirit as you can get. The track Roman actually rode in it because they had a test driver actually circulating the racetrack in it, and it's a V8 in the light, you know, small package, which is kind of like, you know, trucks from the 90s, you know, the Lightning,
Oh,
Ford
yeah.
Lightning,
The
and you know,
SS.
and the SRT. It has that spirit. But you can buy it right now.
And I haven't seen a single one on the road, at least here in Colorado or in California. So I don't really know if they're selling a lot of them.
No, they're not very popular, but this is what this is about. This is a hidden gem. It's a really good truck. I mean, it could still tow, it could still carry things. So if you don't have a big family, you know, you could have, you know, it actually has bucket seats.
So only 2 people.
So 2 people. But it could be a really fun truck to have.
Well, there you go, guys. I mean, that's basically our list. And what we really want to do now is have you guys add to it. So please add your comments and most importantly, the trucks that you should think that should be on this list below. And we will definitely comment on that in the future, won't we?
Yep, and go back to tfltruck.com for all kinds of truck news and stories and videos.
And reviews, of course. So for the Fastlane Truck
This is Andre.
and Nathan, we'll see you next time. Howdy folks, Nathan Adlin here with the Fastlane Truck, and I'm in Northern California. Behind me, the 2017 Nissan Titan Half-Ton. These babies are the Pro 4X, and coming up next, everything you want to know and a brief off-road demonstration.
So
Tailgate down. One of the other things is getting in and out of the bed. For Titan, it's a little bit lower stature, so it's not that big of a deal. But for Titan XD, it's obviously a little higher, a little bit.